I thought we had some pretty good at-bats the first time through, and, we had a bunch of guys line out. We didn't get anything for it. So I thought it was a big momentum shifter. It allowed Michael to have a little breathing room, and it was important.
Michael's still effective, but maybe not quite as sharp
Correct.
as he's been in the past. What was the difference with him?
I didn't think his slider was consistent. It seemed like, a lot of times when he was expanding, it was a ball out of his hand, and they weren't chasing. So it was a little bit off today.
You look at last year, if he didn't have that slider, perhaps things would have escalated for him. Does that just show you the growth that he's had this year?
Yeah, and I thought he used his changeup a little bit more today, to get some strikes with it and some swings and misses. So I think it does show a lot from Michael.
What do you think of the MVP chants coming from the stands about Judge?
Well, I think it's great. I mean, the kid's playing well. He has a lot of support. It just means that our right fielder's playing really well, so that's a good thing.
Are you surprised at all how easy his swing was and the result that it produced? And do you ever just look at his power and get, kind of overwhelmed by it at times?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I look at the ball that he just missed. God knows how far that would have went if he wouldn't have got under it a little bit. He's an amazing athlete, and he's big, and he's strong, and he's simplified things, and he's made a lot of adjustments from last year to where he is right now, and that's why he's been so effective.
Who else? Roger, to your left, Joe.
Joe, Warren has been a little less consistent than usual lately. What did you like about the idea of having him pitch the ninth?
Well, we had a 4-run lead. I have a lot of faith in Adam, the way he's pitched. If I would have went to Dellin if it was 2 or 3-run lead, but I like the way that Adam's pitched. And, they're going to go through their little bumps. I mean, that's the bottom line. But he has the ability to locate. He has the ability to get right-handers and left-handers out both. So I felt confident with him.
Do you feel like having an outing like today important for him?
Yeah, I think his last outing was good, too. He had a couple hiccups, but the greatest relievers have hiccups. It's the bottom, that's the bottom line. So he's been really consistent for us, and he's been so important to our bullpen. So I knew he'd turn it back around.
Tara.
So you've probably been asked about this, but as somebody who played the game and I'm sure watched a million sports, how would you describe just Judge's athleticism, given his size, and kind of just what about that has impressed you over the time you've been with him?
Well, you think about, a lot of tall baseball players, big baseball players, they always say there's, sometimes it takes them a little bit longer to iron out their mechanics, whether they're a pitcher or a hitter. But, when you look at Aaron Judge, I think he's a defensive end playing baseball is what I see. He's the size of NFL defensive ends. He runs extremely well. He's extremely strong. He's athletic. We've seen him dive after balls and catch them. We've seen him fall into the stands and catch balls. We've seen him make outstanding throws. We've seen him steal bases. He's just a really good athlete. And it's not every day you see a guy that big playing baseball. But if you can harness your mechanics, you're extremely dangerous.
Brendan.
How important are about the next 2 weeks? I think your next 13 games are against division foes.
Extremely important. These are big games. We got a big road trip coming up. You can't get too far ahead of yourself. You concentrate. We're going to Baltimore, that has always played as tough. And this is a tough road trip. And we need to continue to play well and continue to pitch well and score runs.
Roger.
Joe, when we got to you before the game, Chapman hadn't thrown his second day.
Normal catch today.
How would you characterize the prognosis so far?
Well, so far he's good. He's in a good spot. He's where we expected him to be. He threw 50 throws at 60 feet today. But, there's still a ways to go. We got to build him up more before we get him off a mound.
Anyone else?
Bird flu.
Okay. Oh, Brian?
I was just curious, is it fair to say that you were a little bit more aggressive on the base pads than normal, and was that a function of their defense or things that you thought would take advantage of?
Yeah, it's a function of us, doing our homework, knowing when we can be aggressive and not aggressive.